Hello, fellow otaku. You're watching Otaku Movie Anatomy. Tonight, we're racing towards the finish line, and we're talking Yowamushi Pedal, the movie.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Otaku Movie Anatomy.
Play that funky music. Yeah. Oh, way to knock out that opening.
Yeah. Well, I'm a bit rusty. Thanks for watching Otaku Movie Anatomy, guys. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment on iTunes, and hit that thumbs up on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter at The Popcorn Talk. I am your host, Yuma Ninja, and you can find me everywhere on the internet as Yuma Ninja.
I am your other host, Michelle Chubby Bunny. You can find me everywhere on the internet at I am Chubby Bunny. The music stopped. I'm so sad.
I know, right? We don't get the background music. Of course, I'm Jonathan Messon. You can always find me at KaibaCat, at KaibaCat.
And we are very sorry for being gone for 2 weeks, but some stuff happened.
Yeah, lots going on in the world, man.
Real life happened.
We had to get ready for Yowamushi Pedal, the movie. That's what happened.
Exactly right. And you know what? We got a lot coming up too with Anime Expo coming up this weekend. If you guys are going, make sure to check us all out at Anime Expo.
We're all going to be there in one capacity or another.
Yes, all of us will be there. So if you happen to run into us, feel free to say hi or not.
Yeah.
Be creepy, whatever.
Like, oh God.
Whatever you do, please don't punch us in the face.
Jesus. What's that? I got a shout.
Hey, that's the kind of viewership that we have. We're off to a rockin' start.
A rockin' start.
Guys, I'm rusty. I haven't been here for a while.
That's all right.
So the movie we're doing today.
The movie we're doing today is Yowamushi Pedal, or also known as Sissy Pedal. Little background about the series: is shot to popularity in 2013 because of the anime series. The manga actually has been going on since 2009, I believe. It won Best Shonen Manga at the 39th Kodansha Manga Awards, and the manga recently just hit over 15 million in print. I think
15 million in
15 million
That's
in
a lot
print.
of mangas.
It is also hugely popular in Japan, and it is everywhere, as we have well witnessed. It spawned a musical stage show,
Which is terrible.
It is terrible. I do not recommend it.
There are no bikes in the show.
They have just handlebars.
Well, I was even thinking, like, when I read this, I was like, because you guys are obviously much more familiar. I don't know if you've seen it.
On YouTube, there's like clips.
Okay, because I was like, how on earth will you ever make
it's
this?
Like dramatic lighting and then holding just the bar, not like just like
a handlebar.
Not even like real, like how they would look in real life, but like a piece of metal that's like a T.
Oh my gosh!
And they kind of like they lean over and just go like this.
It's worse. It's worse than what's in my head.
Yes, it's tragic.
But they sing while doing so, which is the best part, and it's real great. You guys should look it up on YouTube.
Yes, it had 2 seasons of the anime. There is a 3rd season slated for early 2017, and there is an upcoming live-action drama in August.
Is it a movie or a drama?
No, it's a drama.
Jesus, so much riding bicycles.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would have really ride bicycles though. I mean, wouldn't it be better if they shot it all like realistic, where they're just holding handlebars, or it's just shot like above their chest, so you can't see the bike?
So like, have you like? There's a lot of like behind the scenes like cosplay photos that was like a meme, but there's a bunch from Yowamushi Pedal because it's so popular in Asia, where like they're literally on a fence and just going like this, and they crop it here so it looks like the fence is kind of like going by, and I was like, oh man, this is terrible.
Dramatic cosplay angles will make anyone look good. Like you're really riding a bicycle.
Anyway, this movie takes place after the end of the 2nd season, after Sōhoku High has already won the Inter High.
Isn't it like a double? Like, so the 2nd season, isn't it like double long a normal season? Yes. So it's not 12 episodes, it's like 26.
It's 26.
Oh, wow.
And it dragged.
That's a full-on series.
Yes.
So the
That's
2nd
crazy.
season is just like, okay, we're going to go 10 feet, but it's going to take a whole episode to go 10 feet, and we're going to talk about our feelings a little bit, and then we'll sweat a lot, and then ganbaru, and then it's a whole episode over.
Yeah, we will get into the ridiculousness that is Yowamushi Pedal. But anyway, so after Sōhoku wins the Inter High, taking the championship away from Team Hakone.
It's just like Glee, because it's like regionals, sectionals, inter-high.
Regionals. They are invited to a end of summer race in Kumamoto by the Kumamoto team. So Hakone, obviously, they have always been invited, but they're only going this year to defend their honor or get back at Sōhoku for taking away the title.
Yeah, because this is not a sanctioned race.
No.
This is not like a race that's part of, they can win points or...
No,
you know,
it doesn't count at all.
Yeah,
it's just like a friendly match.
Yes, it's all prestige at this point.
But
yes.
it is littered with literally every team that was in this series.
It's great because the way they get into it is we're like, oh, the third years will have to quit soon. That was their last race, didn't you realize? And like, hey guys, this is the only race we gotta do now.
And they're super into it. However, Team Sōhoku is kind of breaking up because the third years are graduating, and Makishima resigns from the club, so there is no longer a mentor for Onoda, and he's kind of having to deal with this kind of his usual inner struggle of...
he has a mental breakdown.
Yeah, he has kind of like
his senpai left.
Yeah, so he has to deal with like, oh, I don't know why I'm cycling and no one's here to guide me and what can I do for the team, which I thought they kind of covered in the second
They definitely
season.
cover that arc like 5 times. His little character arc of, what am I doing here?
But
Well,
It's been
yeah,
done.
I mean, it's interesting because then that means he really doesn't overcome that by the end of it. Like, he actually just kind of still is in the same place.
There is a
essentially.
point.
Okay, we'll get to that later, I'm sure. It's just...
yes, there is a point because it
In
is
terms of the arc.
Yeah, it's very much about friendship and teamwork and coming together to overcome obstacles that I thought we already overcame.
Sure, yeah.
No, it's interesting because I mean, you guys have seen the series, and I have not. So this was all kind of new for me, and I think that was probably a good thing because like you guys are like, oh my god, we're doing this again. Where I was like, oh good, this is something new. So that's a good news. I think if you guys have not seen the series, you could watch the movie, you'll be all right.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's good.
the movie itself, I mean, I liked it, but I think it's kind of captures, like Michelle and I were talking about, captures like the innocence and the fun of the first season.
And you know what? They actually, I haven't looked at the series for a while on Crunchyroll. If you scroll all the way to the end, that's where the movie is. It's the movie, but then there's two like fake episodes before it that are like edited down versions of season 1 and season 2.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
OVAs.
Oh yeah, it's the
That's-
OVAs.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I could watch that instead of watching all of season 2, because halfway through season 2, I was like, strangling you guys.
Yes. I will say though, if you are going to pick up this series, it does usually have like the little fun like bits at the end. The
Biyomake at the end.
Biyomake at the end, and those are
After the
always
credits.
really good.
They're nothing to do with the main storyline,
Yeah.
and it's like them in a bathhouse talking about Hime, or
Yeah.
them deciding who's gonna cook food today, or who looks the most like this famous actor. It's just very cute, like little skits.
Yeah.
Almost.
For those who aren't familiar, the main character Onoda he's a freshman in high school, and he's an otaku. He wants to join the anime club, but he then finds out that the anime club has dissolved because there's no interest in it. So then he gets spotted by these other two freshmen who are serious cyclists because they realize that he's been biking every weekend to Akihabara because he's a big otaku, and they realize that he's an excellent climber even though he's climbing on this shitty bike and he's not struggling. And through that, they convince him to join the cycling club at Sōhoku, and he is like, oh, okay, well, I can make friends now. That's literally the whole point of him joining the cycling club.
So in case you didn't know, Shonen Jump, the theme of all of their it's like part of their slogan is
Friendship. Friendship.
Adversity/effort, depending how you want to translate it, and victory. So there gotta be some friendship in this Shonen
And then
Jump
victory.
series.
And there's a lot of
There's
friendship.
some victories.
I will say it is kind of cute because he is, guys, if you feel like you're an otaku, no, this character
Yes.
is like the otaku.
Otaku.
Yeah, I felt like, I mean, this is such a slice of life anime. It was kind of like when he was on screen and he was, you know, it was centered around him. It was like watching Genshiken, if you've ever seen that.
Yes.
Yes.
I love Genshiken.
Now, if you guys have never seen Genshiken,
Is there a
it's
Genshiken movie we
great.
can review? I don't think there is.
No, there's only the
No,
OVAs. If we can get away with that, we'll try that.
we'll go.
Because honestly, guys, Genshiken, this is like a character from Genshiken who's now a cyclist, and that's
Yeah.
what it is.
But he becomes
It's
a
like-
cyclist because he just wants to have friends. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah. That's the thing.
He doesn't get into it because he's like, oh, I love cycling so much. He's like, I think the first time he cycles seriously, he's like, oh, all my friends are ahead of me and I have to catch up. Okay, I'll just pedal really hard with my Ganbaru friendship spirit, and then he does it. It's great.
He's such a likable character because there's no malice in him. He gets along with almost everybody in every team, and everybody ends up liking him. Just
He's the
because-
Sailor Moon of the team.
Yeah, he's just a real nice, likable kid.
Yeah.
However, because it is a shonen anime, it does suffer from some ridiculous tropes and things that happen, and I will hand that off to you, Michelle.
All right, here we go.
Well,
Tropes.
well, actually, this is not written on the paper, but the one trope, obviously, in the movie is that Makishima senpai. So if you don't know, there's like 1,000 characters. He's the one with the green hair. He's the only one with the long green hair. He's the main character. He secretly has a secret, and he sadly says, "Oh yeah, I'll see you guys next week." But then he secretly leaves the country for no reason at all after he graduates. Because in Japan, apparently in graduating high school, everyone got a brother or a sister that needs some help at their store in England.
In England.
So he's moving to England. That's it.
And he like basically doesn't tell Onoda and like just like leaves him in the dust. And he's super sad about it.
And even what he says to him is actually kind of sweet in a way, but at the same time, like, just tell the kid.
So
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's like, the kid was like, can I race with you? Can I ride with you, like, next time? And he was like, you will ride with me every time. He's like, as long as you envision me there, you will
My
always
spirit
ride
will
with
be
me.
with you.
Yeah,
He's like, and you have to become better than me. You have to be me and then be better than me.
Yeah.
And it's like, all my sports anime tears.
It was. They have such a cute relationship throughout the entire series that like I really like it, just because Makishima is very like he always acts like off put by the whole otaku thing, but then he kind of shares that bond because he can see Onoda trying so hard and he's like he respects him. Well, the whole thing is Makishima's got like his own style and he's called like the Peak Spider.
Oh, that's right, because he rides like crazy.
I wish
rides like
if
this.
you guys look, there was a Vine that was released in
Yes.
Japan like recently where some kid like he figures out how
does
to do it.
Oh my god.
But he's not climbing. He's just going on a straight road and his friend's like cycling. And he's going.
But the guy is literally like bending his bicycle, like
Yeah.
weaving it, and it is insane.
Like, it looks like the laws of physics were like, F it. Like it was just, and I want to talk about their relationship. I think there's a moment that really caught me. And it really shows, say his name of the lead character,
Onoda.
Onoda.
Yeah.
It shows his personality so well. It's when Onoda's done practicing, so he's just like ridden up the mountain and ridden back, and then he's like sees the green hair.
Makishima.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be all night. He sees him like, and Makishima says to him, he's like, "Hey, come ride with me." And Onoda says, I just did a whole ride. He's like, "Can I get a rain check?"
I know.
And Makishima's like, "Okay." And they start like leaving, and Onoda just stops and goes, "I had a bad feeling."
Yeah,
He's like, "I just
it
had.
was
He's like,
so
I'm gonna come
cute.
ride with you. I just had a bad feeling, and I can't let this be." He's like, I have to ride with you. And then he rides with
Yes,
him.
It's so
it's so cute. I cried so much watching
There's
this.
so much.
It was really
There's so much
sweet.
friendship in this movie.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a really, it's a quick one, and we'll get to the end when we talk about the end about our ratings. But it's a good quick one to watch with
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
friends, even if you don't. Because Jonathan hadn't seen the series,
I knew nothing about it going in.
and it was fine.
Yeah.
I am going to talk about cycling techniques in the anime versus real life. There is a problem with physics,
Yes.
y'all. Not just the spider climbing, which apparently is a real. So you can really do it, but it doesn't
Yes.
actually make you a better climber. It just makes you a very slow, strange looking.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's got a lot of flair,
Yeah.
not
Doesn't
very
do
much
anything.
use.
So I'm going to talk about the just the general cycling techniques because there's so many. Everyone has a special ding dong. Example: normal riding through a course in a competition. In real life, all the riders more or less, they intermingle among each other in a large group. They kind of stay in a pack unless they're too slow, then they fall behind. They stay in usually one big group. Maybe one or two teams are organized in the front, and they kind of pull the whole field along. In Yawa Pedal, each team only rides in the draft with their own teammates. They don't.
Yep.
They never ride in one giant group. Only at the beginning of the thing.
Yeah.
And in distinct separate clusters, all marked by the colors of their jerseys.
Yes.
I mean, like they touch on it, like in some of the series, where like, oh, the rest of the pack, but it's like they treat it as if like the losers.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like that's not how it works.
Yeah, so the general technique of real cycling images, if you watch any cycling images, it's very obvious. If you keep up with the pack because it has the least wind resistance, you're not working as hard as you would be
That's right.
by yourself, because what's it called, the not the drag, the draft thing.
Draft,
Drafting
yeah.
is real.
Yes.
But and then towards like the last one or two laps, people will break away because then they start using their extra effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
so
not in Yawa Pedal.
the concept is you're staying behind everyone. So so they're exerting more energy, and you get to just chill right
Yeah.
behind them. So then you've saved up your energy for the end of the race,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
take off. That's
Yeah.
it.
And so the big group of the pack is, so there's a group called the Peloton is like the group so if you're ahead of them, they're kind of like the other group that's behind you. If you're in the front, you feel like you're winning, then there's another group in the back. So anyway, so in real life, so when breakaway riders, the people in the front realize are getting caught up by the back group of the Peloton, in real life, they'll usually calmly sit up and let the Peloton catch up with them or even pass them because they realize they can just bike in the back of their draft, as long as they're not by the finish line. They will usually just be like,
Yeah.
it's fine. But in Yowamushi Pedal,
They freak out.
No one
They
is allowed to get
scream.
by you.
Yeah.
And they also have superpowers.
Yes.
Like kind of like they have like a power.
Yeah.
Each person
Yeah.
is like. You know, one guy's like super oxygen, and he like takes a
the
deep
best.
breath and like just charges forward because his oxygen propels him. And someone else has muscles. The abs dude is the best.
Oh yeah, the abs dude.
Abs-
I love
abs.
him.
Andy and Frank are my two favorite characters.
Andy and Frank.
Is it what the abs guy's name? Is it? I don't know.
He's the one that I never remember.
Because all he says is
remember.
abs.
Yeah,
so
I
he's
just-
always working out.
He's well, I call him eyelashes. 'Cause
Okay.
he's
Oh,
like,
that's his nickname.
Yeah.
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 That's the guy.
yeah, but like
Abs.
I love that his abs have names. Andy
Yes.
and Frank.
Yes, that's right.
They gotta do. So yeah, in Yowamushi Pedal, they as soon as they get caught up by the back group, they start screaming. Especially if it's a side character that is not important, they scream and then we never see them again. They're
Yes.
just they're just a badly drawn side character.
Yeah. They just get like eaten by the
Oh
pack.
no! And in the movie, did you guys notice that when the Kyoto group, they're kind of like cocky, and then as soon as they get eaten, they just give up. They're like, well, I guess we're done riding now.
They stop.
They just give
stop
up.
completely.
They just stop.
But
And this
I'm
does
like,
not
why?
happen in a race. You don't just like stop. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, the other guys got past
No,
us.
you keep going to
well,
get your
let's
rank.
get the f out of here. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the same was happened in the series. Like in the series, like in the second season, the Inter High, like each member of Team Sōhoku or whatever team they were in has their moment to shine. But then they're like, oh, I exerted all of my energy, and then they kind of fall to the side, and everybody's like, no, you died.
I know, and it's like, whoa, did you
They-
really die?
Yeah, they totally act like I'll never see you
Yeah,
again.
the Kyoto Gakuen was like, nope. No, they nope right out of there.
I mean, they took cycling and they made it
Yeah.
anime. That's what
Yeah.
they did. They've done it Super Campeones, which I don't know what the actual Japanese name is. That's a soccer one that was I used to watch in Mexico, and I don't know.
I don't
it's
know that one. I don't know
it's a-
soccer.
Yeah,
That one.
soccer and then Prince of Tennis and
Oh,
Prince of
Tennis.
like
Okay, so the last weird thing I'm going to cover in cycling techniques is the sprinting for the finish. Oh my god. So in real life, and again, I'm not a professional cycler or anything. I just Googled this on the internet, so y'all can do that too. So usually, as you mentioned before, each rider tries to sit in the draft of another until the very last moment, and even willing to draft off an opposing team if it means saving energy for those last hard pedal strokes. In Yellow Pedal, each rider or team sprints from the finish line, shoulder to shoulder, going across one line.
Yeah.
No one's riding anyone's fucking draft, so they're all going completely like a few kilometers out from they're not even close to the damn finish line. They're sprinting for like a mile.
yes. No, I think it was like literally like when it got like 1,000 kilometers. Like they just went like this, all three of them, like just going. I was
Yeah,
like, you
there's
don't do
no
that.
concern for wind resistance. They just go.
They just go for
and
it.
they pedal as hard as they can and use the power of friendship with the person next to them to finish that race. And that is how you win a race in Yowamushi Pedal. With friendship and nothing
Friendship.
else.
And a superpower maybe if you got a superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got like, if you know when the wind's coming up, you can sprout wings.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then, like, there was a character in the series named Midosuji. They mentioned him very, like, Kyoto mentions
he
him
had
at
a
the
huge
beginning.
arc, so like we can just
Yeah.
do
Is this the guy who kept saying gross?
Yeah.
Gross? Yeah.
So, and he's got, like, perfect teeth. Like, his whole thing in the series, like, he, like, hunches over his, like, bike and sticks his, like, tongue out. And I was like, no one could ever be of any use in cycling doing that. Like, that is so awkward. Like, there's no gravity. You would totally, like, just fall over. But that was his thing, and it made him faster.
There was a great character that they introduced. I don't know if they introduced, if he was part of the series or not, but I guess this is how they tied in that character, was that new guy on the team who's like, I'm the new ace, and I'm going to do what he
Oh, yeah.
does.
Yeah.
And
He's
I
so
guess
cute.
It's funny you see he has perfect teeth, the other guy, because this one
Yeah.
had braces.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm the man, I'm going to be the ace, and his
That's the
time...
joke.
Yeah.
And I get it now that you said it.
Yeah.
And like his time comes to take off, and he's like, this is my time. And then he does the exact same thing that
Yeah.
character does, and he hunches over the front, but he sucks at cycling.
Yes.
And he just doesn't go fast, and everyone just rides by him like,
And that was really
Yeah, that was
sucks.
funny.
The movie was, there's just so many funny, slapstick moments, and I really, every single one of them, I was like, I'm a simple person with simple leads for laughing.
It was
man.
funny, and even I didn't even know the series, and I thought it was
Yeah,
hilarious. It
yeah.
was so, and everyone was so, all the characters were so endearing. Like you really just love everyone. Like the ace for the main team, who with the deep ass voice.
Oh, yeah, Kinjo, the captain.
Kinjo.
Yeah.
No, it was crazy because like he was like, guys, we're gonna go, pedal or whatever. He was like, but he would be like, all right, everyone, it's time to go. And I was like, damn.
It's
Like,
true.
I'll follow him. Like,
But
damn.
then if you think about it, like Hakone's captain is the same way. Like he's got like a deep voice. And like
He's like
strong
he's the worst strong character in that whole series. I swear to God.
He's got like 5 cones for a head and
He's
like
blonde hair. His
bushy ass
eyebrows
right.
are like this. They're like bigger than
He's
his
got
whole
like the
face.
Rock Lee eyebrows.
When he puts on his helmet, his hair is so spiky that it goes through the little holes in the helmet, which is insane. That doesn't happen. And his
It's a
face,
crazy
it just looks
character.
like he got he's like, you know what, I was watching with my husband and he's just like, I guess he ran out of faces to draw on true now. He's like, I totally draw so many faces.
if you notice, like, as much as I love this anime, like, a lot of, like, the side characters kind of look the same.
Oh my god, all the side characters do.
They all kind of have hair that's spiky that goes down like this, and then they have, like, eye bags.
The
Yeah.
girls
like-
all look exactly the
yeah,
same.
they
All the
put-
different
look the
kinds of
same.
hair.
They pushed the main 3 sort of riders from each team to the foreground, so like, oh, they have an interesting, different look, and yeah, everyone else
Everyone
is just
looks
cookie
the
cutter.
same.
Like, just, yeah. Throwaways.
Just real quick, guys, we are monitoring chat, so if you want to say hi.
So what's up, Starter?
Yeah.
Hi, Starter.
What's up?
And then if you watch the movie, you'll notice a mysterious black bear mascot
Yes.
character show up a lot, and it's like, what the fuck is this thing? It is Kumamon. Da-da-da.
Come on.
So they go to Kyushu, and one of the most famous mascots in Japan, in all of Japan, for mascots for anything in general, they have mascot competitions in Japan.
Yes, they do.
Is Kumamon. It's him and like Funabashi are like the 2 most popular ones.
Yes.
Funabashi's that big yellow
But
grape-looking thing. I don't know what he is.
is he an onion or a banana?
I kind of thought he was like a grapefruit. Anyway, we're not talking about him. We're talking about Kumamon.
Kumamon.
Kumamon. Kuma means bear. So there's Kumamon on the screen. We see him.
No.
He represents Kumamoto Prefecture. He promotes that. And so it's funny because when you look at the articles released in Japan about this movie when it was coming out, like, oh, you know, it was such a cool, it's so great that the Yowamushi Pedal team is going to Kyushu. You know, Kumamon decided to join in the fun. I'm like, no. Kumamoto Prefecture paid somebody some money
To be in Yowamushi
This is
Pedal.
definitely a paid
I want to
sponsorship.
read
Yeah.
the notes that you guys wrote here. 15 appearances in the movie in all caps. They definitely paid for that sweet, sweet Animu sponsorship.
They sure did.
That was me who wrote it. Yeah, because I counted them, and when it's an even number like that, I started counting the appearances immediately. Because I'm like, there's no way this is free.
Yeah.
Nothing in this world is free. But in the opening, so as soon as they reach Kumamoto Prefecture,
yeah.
you start seeing Kumamon
Kumamon.
everywhere. They're posing in front of a statue. Like one of the girls is wearing a hat with him on it.
Yep.
He is like the torch bearer he like holds the signs
Yep.
for the
Right.
event, and he's in the lead car that leads the team. He's just like in the
Yes.
fucking car, like, hey, I'm in
Yes.
the car now. Look at me, I changed size. He's in the end credits. Like,
Yes, he is.
I checked and checked and checked for
15
Kumamon.
appearances.
15 appearances.
That's a very even
They
number.
definitely paid for that.
So it's like Kumamon. There was a lot of other ads. Like Lawson had a lot of ads.
Yeah, like that's what I noticed about this movie. Like, you know, in anime, like it's the running joke of like you show things that exist, but you change one letter, and it's funny. Like McDonald's becomes
Yeah.
WickDonald's.
They mentioned
you know?
Pepsi.
Pepsi,
Yeah.
yeah. Who was like, you got to buy me a Pepsi. And I was like, oh, that's
so that
funny.
was the running joke in the series because there was no like legitimate sponsorship or ads. So instead of Pepsi, they just turned the P around and it's
To
a
Pepsi.
Pepsi. But like everything else, like Lawson, like Kumamon, there were so many like legitimate, like there were bike.
it was Casio, Picari Swift,
Yes.
Cannondale did one. And then you'll notice that they got new bikes. I
Yes.
think there were
They're
real
real
brand
bikes.
bikes. That's why
Oh,
at the very
yeah.
beginning, like, oh look, here's a free new bike, and it's
Yeah.
like a real licensed
Like
bike.
and that's
Maybe-
the level of popularity of this because if you watch the original series, those bikes like they changed like all the different letters to something else.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
they're all
Pepsi
But these
thing.
are real
Yeah.
ones in
Yeah,
this.
those-
I have
they're
a
all
question
real.
then, because from the series to this, there were a couple points where I was like, what the hell is going on right now? Where like they show the bikes and then they just talk about the bikes.
Yep.
And like
Yeah.
they're like, oh, and this pedal and this and that. And I was like, is this really happening? Like I was like, now that you're saying it, is this because they're pushing a product or was it something that they do in the series as well?
They do in the series too.
Okay, so
they
this is an actual
they
thing.
explain like all the technical things of like
Okay.
because you know Onoda he starts off with what they call mommy bike,
Chari,
yeah,
yeah.
mama chari, which is you know like it's basically like a beater bike.
Yeah, they make reference
Yeah.
to it. They're like, you still
has, like, a
riding that
basket.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like what we would call like a girl bike. And then he gets his upgrade, and they're like, and slowly throughout the series, they're like, oh, now you have brakes, now you have clip-in like
Yes.
pedals and stuff like that, and like these things make you go faster. Now you have a carbon frame.
Yeah.
They,
I was
they,
like-
they explain the upgrades.
Yeah.
Because I guess the writer was originally a bike otaku. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to write a manga about bicycles.
Yes.
And
there are bike otaku.
And it has really
I love that his voice had to be that because he's a biker. He's a biker otaku, so his voice had to be like, oh wow.
Everyone who likes cycling talks funny. That's not true. I was gonna say the effect of this movie, not the movie, just this whole series in general. I was reading some articles on a Japanese website, and it was saying like they were interviewing. So they had a big fan event for Yowamushi Pedal, where a bunch of like the voice actors came out, and Akihabara. And one girl, and a lot of people showed up on bicycles, and they were like, "This is amazing! Like these otaku like learned how to ride a bike because of the series."
Yep.
And they interviewed this one girl, and because she was like all decked out, and they're like, "So like." Because it was like a real bicycle that she bought because it was in the series, and she's like, yeah, I mean, I got it for cosplay, but then, it was an expensive bike, so I started riding it, and I got really into the sport, and now I used to only do cosplay as my only hobby, and now like I have a whole group of friends that we go and we decide to go bike somewhere. We bike somewhere all during the weekends, and then we go find good food and we bike home, and like
This is changing people's lives.
Yeah, and
it is.
Yeah, it's a whole phenomenon.
I mean,
gosh.
like it's like I started watching this series because my fiance got super into cycling, and he has a super expensive custom bike that's like Japanese style, and so he started watching this, and he got super into it, and then he got me into it, and so he would explain all of this stuff to me. He's like, oh yeah, I was looking at that frame, and then he's like, oh, I got clip-ins. I got the same thing. So like we've cosplayed as characters from this series, but it was all due to him that I started watching this series.
Dude, props to the Japanese for doing entertainment and doing things that gets us also up and moving. Because, okay, so we've got this, and Pokemon Go makes your ass
Oh
walk.
my God, I definitely-
kilometers. Like, dude, that is so smart. That is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Another reason to watch this movie.
Yeah, let's
or
be
even
part of the
series.
actual world, not just the virtual world.
Yeah, it'll make your butt get on a bike.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
man.
gonna go to a spinning class or something.
Oh
That's
man.
indoors.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't
too
know what
hot
it is.
out.
Like sports anime in general, it's like such a big deal in Japan. Like
Well, to be honest, the sports anime boom was like 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and like America's like just getting it.
yeah,
like,
it's true because Yowamushi Pedal was started in like 2009.
and that
It always takes us a little while to get it.
It peaked at the same time a bunch of like for example, one of the older. So we were talking about Prince of Tennis and Ice Shield 21 is another. They're older sports animes that were very, very popular at the time, but sports anime in general were not like a genre really
Yeah.
yet. It was just kind of those two. And basically around this time when Yowamushi Pedal came out, it was also the advent of Kuroke's basketball, which is
Yeah.
the translation's so funny.
That'll
to me.
work.
And then of course Haikyuu.
Haikyuu! Oh my god, Haikyuu! So Haikyuu is another one of those series. It's
Yeah.
about volleyball.
It's about volleyball.
Oh, okay.
And it keeps the tone of friendship and working hard with each other for the team. That's really cute, like fun to watch. It only strays into the whole like, now let's play one volleyball game for 3 episodes. It only does it like once.
Yeah.
So I forgave it. But it has 2 seasons also. But it really peaked like maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, there were a lot. Like Baby Steps is tennis, and then they had like New Prince of Tennis, and then like recently they had like Prince of Stride, which is like a free running, I think.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What is free running? I don't know what that is.
It's like parkour.
Oh
but
no.
I guess without
exactly
the parkour part.
No, that's exactly what
Like
it is.
casual walking?
To be fair, I only watched one episode of Princess Stride, and I was like, nah,
Jesus
not for
Christ.
me.
Yeah,
It's not Haikyuu.
Yeah, you
It's
guys,
not
if you're
Yowamushi
watching it,
Pedal.
if you could tell us what the difference is between free running and parkour, because I thought that was the same thing.
I don't think they are.
So if you guys are watching and let us
Run
know.
freely. Run freely.
Well,
Free
it's
running
not parkour unless you say parkour.
Go, parkour.
That's right. When you jump off something, parkour.
Parkour.
Yeah. Oh, that guy's doing parkour, honey. Look at him. Yes, he's doing parkour. Yeah. One thing I really loved about this were just the characters. They were all so stand out for me. Especially not having you've seen this before. The characters, everyone I got immediately, and even if they were kind of throwaways because they're like the ace of this team, they were kind of flat in a lot of ways. All the characters are kind of flat, but not like completely flat. They were rounded just enough so you could like fall in love with them and enjoy the time that you have with them. And it was just really beautifully done to have so many characters, throw them all at your face as a viewer, and still go, oh, I like them all. Like I like them.
Because I think like this is one of those like I think the failings of most anime movies is like you go in and they expect you to know everything and then they just don't explain anything. And I think this one worked because yes, they introduced all these people that maybe you knew or didn't know, but you didn't have to. Like they were all kind of like they say their names and they show you their like team
Special,
logo,
yeah.
and then they kind of just get into the story. So like even if you had no real like knowledge of the previous season, you can still enjoy them because their characters are still kind of put into those like small bits that they show up in the movie.
And the little bit that they give you of the series, because they'll do some flashbacks and things so you guys could see something.
Yeah.
They're great. The ones they choose to show you, like, immediately put you in the
Like
world
the
and go,
whole
oh, I get it.
Makishima Senpai montage.
Yes.
That montage was good.
Yeah.
It was a green hair guy. So basically when Onoda realizes he's leaving,
He's leaving.
there's this long ass montage with
Montage.
like all the great times I had with Makishima Senpai. It was so cute.
It was so good.
It was very
That
cute.
friendship is very sweet. I want to talk. I want to get into towards the end of it then, because so our protagonist, he's unable to really race anymore without his senpai. He's unable to do it, and they end up losing sort of that leg of the race because he wasn't able to climb. And so the whole concept, I thought, was he was going to find it in himself to be better than his senpai, to grow. That is not the case for this film. So what happens is Makishima comes back to do one last race. So he joins on the second day of the race, and he has to start in last place. And the whole team waits for him. So they're all in last place together, and then
Such
they
strategy.
Yeah.
Right, I know, right?
Much strategy.
Like, let's all purposely lose.
Also,
and,
like-
and then they all go together. But the thing is, our lead character, our protagonist, he doesn't get better. He just ends up like doing the exact same thing and doing well because his senpai is there. So it just leads me to believe like this is really sweet. It's more about friendship, but he's not going to continue on with this in the future.
Yeah.
This is not for him. He's going to be an otaku, but he's not really going to be a biker, a cyclist.
His whole like it's like when he figures it out, like his whole reason for cycling is because of his friends, and like they show it very much in this movie. And I think also like I feel like it's super illegal. Like, hey, I wasn't here for the first day of the race, but I'm gonna join last place.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about the rules of this, but I
The
guess.
rules seem
fair.
very lax.
I did see a thread on Reddit about this, and it was like, because they're high schoolers, they just kind of are like, just at least if you're participating, that's, your team. It's kind of one of
They're
those,
like, no one likes cycling anyway. Just let them race if they like it.
Go in the race, you kids.
Yeah, jeez.
There's only 4 teams in this dumb race anyway.
But I like that, like, Onoda's whole thing is that, like, his cadence gets faster when he smiles. He smiles when he bikes uphill, and like,
when they sing the
they sing the, like,
We
Hime
should
song
totally
together.
talk about that. So yeah, he sings the dang Princess Pancake song.
Yes.
Oh, that was one of the best parts of this entire thing.
It is the best
Please.
part of the entire series.
Yes.
So it's a running theme. Like whenever they win something or whenever he feels good, he goes to Aki and he comes back and buys and gives them all gifts. But they're all super otaku gifts, and all of them are like, okay.
It's all these guys who don't like anime, and they're like, oh.
But they secretly have watched all of like Princess Pancake.
Yeah, so basically he made them into his anime club.
Yep.
Yeah, and so they're trying to catch up to the main team, which is called
Kumamoto.
Is
No,
that-
Hakone.
Hakone.
Yeah.
So they're trying to catch up to
blue
the
and
main
white.
team, and they have this moment where they're like, they send our protagonist to the front, and they're like, lead us, and then he starts singing,
Bless you.
and he's like, sing with me, and it's like, he's
They're like,
singing and he's singing the Princess Pancake song, and they're all like, oh god, we're gonna do this, and then the guy right behind him breaks into song,
Yeah, like,
and then
one by one.
and they're all like full on jamming,
Yeah.
and no one could catch them because they're going at the cadence of this Princess Pancake song,
Oh,
and
man.
it is
The best part-
adorable.
The best part for me about that was that they all don't want to get into it, and they do, and then Makishima Senpai is the last one. He's like, what's going on? And finally goes, and then he explodes in a bunch of sparkles for some reason. They continue cycling quite well or quite fast, and the Kumamoto team is ahead of them. But of team, I mean like 2 of them. I don't know what the hell happened to the rest of the team.
Yeah, they were like-
they're dead
It's
now.
only
They were like-
the ace and the big dude.
Yeah, because they were like, oh, look, they're already going faster than us. Our squad sucks. Let's go. Like,
So,
F those guys.
That scene, they're playing the music, and like, because they're singing behind them, and as I come up, these 2 guys kind of started going, what's their slogan, like, fire fights, like, push harder, like,
Something.
be stronger, like, basically like super aggro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something super bro-y, like.
And then they're like,
Gross,
what's that
gross.
noise? What's that sparkling noise behind us?
That's right. And they say sparkly noise. They say
It's
sparkly
so
noise.
good.
And I comment, I'm gonna take them.
Oh man.
Oh, there's a line they say 500 times in this, and I want to make sure I say it right because I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious to me. I appreciate your support. They say it all
Yes,
the time.
it's
Everyone
because-
says it.
yes, everybody
hey, I
says
just want
it.
you to know, I appreciate your support.
It's because the whole cycling thing is that like usually when they're cycling, like one person is pulling and the other people. So like when they're climbing, the climber is pulling. So they're all like, "Oh, you're supporting us, so we can like sprint. So we lead when it's the time to sprint, and then like we support you."
Yes.
It's like the whole thing.
And they say it becomes like a running gag for me because even like the team manager, they're like on a plane, like going to the race, and they're all sit down in their plane seats, and one of the guy goes one of the racers turns to the manager and is like, "Just so you know, I appreciate your support." And I was like, "What? What the f
It's
is
just
happening?"
great translation.
All right, since we're already talking about it, we have about 10 minutes left. Let's get into favorite characters or scenes.
Oh man,
I have a good one.
do it,
Yes, do it.
It's at the end, and it makes no sense. There's no reason for it to be in there. But the Hakone guys, oh my god, they've won their trophies because they flash back to when Hakone won all of 3 trophies, which happens like in the middle of the movie, and I'm sorry I can't remember the name of the characters. Basically, they flash back to when they're still in school in the library, and the two are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to this college, and I'm gonna go with him because he's going to that one." And they basically plan a high five.
yes.
Like in advance. They can't just do a high five.
They gotta plan it.
They say something happens like, "Okay, well, if you guys are going, I'll go." Like he's just very tsundere to the other two. And one of the guys says, "Okay, but if we win, we're gonna high five, right?"
Yeah.
And he's like, he just goes, to him. And they show the scene, and they
all high five.
They walk over to him, and they're like, "Let's high five!" And then all the whole team high fives, and I'm like, your planned high five was ridiculous and
Yeah.
adorable. It didn't have to be planned, but it was great.
Jonathan.
Good job, Hakone.
There's a ton of great moments. I think we've already talked about a couple that I
Yeah.
wanted to bring up. Obviously, the singing the song. Okay, so abs guy. So he says the word abs all the time.
Yes.
So he's working out and he's like abs, abu. But what really got me, and this is the moment for me, is like when the team is catching up to his team, and he, instead of going what or nani, he goes abu. Like, he says abs. That's his like declaration of surprise. Abs. Like no matter what happens, abs. He's like the seagulls from Finding Nemo.
Yes, he is.
He's like mine, but it's abs. It is fantastic. Probably
Oh,
my
man.
favorite character in the whole thing is
Oh.
abs. And I don't know his name. It's Abs.
Yeah,
That's it.
he's just abs.
What was it? Frank and
Eyelashes.
Andy and Frank.
Andy and Frank.
Andy.
His abs are.
Andy.
yeah.
Let's go. And he when he needs to use them, he unzips
Unzips his thing. And he's like, there's so much like male nudity. It's just like, I gotta go faster. Unzip.
There's a lot of homoerotic things happening
there
in this
is.
film, and it was great. It was
It's like
Yeah.
weird and unnecessary.
Yeah,
And
I think it's also super unintentional.
And badly drawn.
It
Also,
does-
like
yeah,
it's not
it-
sensual. It's just badly drawn, like a jarred square pectorals. So like
Yeah,
squares with like a dash.
And it's weird because it doesn't like cross the line where it's like we're like, oh, this is oddly sexual. You're just going, oh, this is interesting. Like this is I'm okay with the fact that this is
named his ass.
interestingly
That's
homoerotic,
what
and I'm
guys
not
do.
sure, but okay, yeah. Because this is
Oh,
friendship
man.
and maybe a little bit more, but we're not going to broach the subject.
Fair enough, boys.
Oh, no. For me, my two absolute favorite characters is Makishima and Jinpachi from Hakone, the headband one.
Oh, the headband.
I love that part when like he gets like Jinpachi gets there and he's like bathing in his fangirls, and then he realizes that Maki is not there, and he gets so depressed. And then once like Maki's there, he's like, "Where is he? I sense him."
Like he sensed his presence, and he goes to our protagonist Onoda, and is like, "He's here, isn't he? You won't tell me he's
Where
here."
is he? Yeah.
And then Onoda's like, "Well, he definitely didn't get on the last flight and make it here in time for the race." And he's like,
said
yeah, and,
yeah.
And there he is. And the thing is, though, all that character had to do was look in the back, and what's his name?
Makishima, yeah.
Makishima's right there. He could have just looked behind everyone, because then after he knows he's there, he looks up, and Makishima's like, "Oh, he couldn't keep my secret." I'm like, "Bitch, you didn't keep your own secret. He's standing right there."
Plus, it's like he's the only character with like long green hair. All right.
This movie is so absurd, and
Yes.
you accept it because
Yeah.
they set that precedent at the beginning,
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, this is it.
Yep.
I'm in. I'm all
All
in.
right. So time to rate it, Jonathan.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna straight up. I'm gonna give this a really solid 4, like a really solid 4. And I think I might even go high. No, I'm gonna say 4 1/4. 4 1/4.
Damn.
4 1/4. And the reason being is because I had fun.
Mm-hmm.
I just had stupid fun with it. The biking stuff that they go into too much, I wasn't a great fan of. Some really piss poor artwork at times. Like there's some great landscape stuff that they do, but some piss poor character artwork.
It's so bad.
Like I'm gonna give it the extra 1/4 just because I had so much fun.
Yeah.
And I love it when we do an anime, a film that I'm not really familiar with, and I just enjoy myself. I hate the ones where I'm like, oh gosh, and I pull up my phone. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna keep watching, but I am also on my phone.
Yeah.
Like no, this was like a solid 4 for sure, but I'm gonna give it a 4 1/4.
Yeah. I feel like I want to do the same thing because art is like so rough sometimes.
The art is rough.
I mean, like what they do. I mean, they CG some of those cycling scenes. Good job, guys. But you don't have to. There's one scene where they CG the faces as well as the bite, and they're talking. And I'm like, but they're talking like this. Or they're not moving their mouth at all, but they're talking. And I'm like, guys, what the hell? At least move the face. No, okay. But I think a 4 1/4 is great. It's so fun. I mean, if you're a fan of Yowamushi Pedal, it is fun still. I haven't, like I said, I haven't finished the second season, but it's still, I didn't need to. It was fine, and it was still great. I laughed a lot, and I mean,
you will laugh.
If one of your favorite things are those little after credit scenes in season 1, then you're gonna love those. That's great.
Yeah. I am going to do the one thing that I usually don't do and rate it higher than you guys.
What? Whoa.
She's such a big Yowa
Now,
Pedal
I'm
fan.
always amazed when we have a similar rating at a tie, but you're
I'm
going
above
higher.
them this time.
Now that's amazing.
Because I am a huge Yowamushi Pedal fan. I'm just a huge fan. However, as I am the nitpicky one with art, it did suck a lot at a lot of times. I'm gonna say it's a 4.75 for me.
Well, that's whoa.
But it was such a good movie. I mean, as a fan, like I laughed, I cried. Everything that I wanted from this movie was like there. Even with the shitty art, I was able to look past it. I was like, hey man, I enjoyed this.
Look, usually shitty art will take off like a full point from her,
for
so
me.
that's huge. That is huge.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That's.
So we
Yeah,
have
so there
our
you go, guys.
Watch this one.
Yeah, highly recommend this
Go
one.
watch it. Oh my God.
All right, so that's it for tonight. Next week, I believe it is going to be Max's pick.
Max's pick.
Max will be back. He's sick this week.
We don't know what it is because his ass ain't here.
Yeah, he's mostly dead right now.
Yeah,
He's kind of dead.
Sound like Wheezy from the Jeffersons if he was here.
But thanks for joining us this week. And as usual, you can find me everywhere on the internet at Human Ninja.
You can find me everywhere on the internet at I am Chubby Bunny.
And you can find me at Kaiba Cat.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Peace.
See you next week.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.